So, where's our motivation to practice? How many lives have we lived? How many? How many lives have we practiced? How many lives have we become a monk? How many lives have we this job or that job? And each time we die, next time we are born again, we have to learn it again and again and again. How many worlds have we been to? Buddha talked about, planets, where there were 3 Buddhas, planets, there were only 1 Buddha, planets, he says this planet is very special because there will be 5 Buddhas, 5 civilizations. So this planet has a long life. But after the next Lord Buddha, it will be ended. And how many times have we been born? Millions of times. Trillions of times. Born and die. And born and die. Always do the same thing. We are born as a human being, we have to learn to walk, we have to learn to talk, we have to learn to read, and we have to learn to write, and then we have to learn to think, until we can use this body in full strength, 16 years of training, 16 years of training, and then what we do? We just get a profession, looking for a job, earning money, and working until we have no strength anymore, and then that's what we call retirement. And in retirement, we're waiting for the end of our life, We're waiting for dying just to have a new life, with the same thing. Things don't change, There are forests, there are seas, there are oceans, there are sand, there are mountains, So, there are people, so what do we do? The Lord Buddha came down, and told us, there's an end of all this dukkha. There's an end of this revolving door of birth and death. Constant birth and death. Hamstering, just like a hamster, hamster, running, but not going anywhere. Where do we go? We think, there's progress. Where's the progress? When you think about the Buddhist practice, yes, there are 4 stages of progress. The first stage is Sotapanna, or stream entry. The second stage is Sakadagami, or once return. And third stage is Anagami, non-return. And the fourth and last stage, is Arahant. Not coming back in any kind of form. Being in eternity. But anywhere else there's no progress. We just, we just run and run and run. We do the same things over and over again. In this life, we practice a little bit, then we get bored, then we work a little bit, then we practice a little bit, next life, Maybe we decide to become a monk or, a nun, and then afterwards, it's so difficult, then, There's no end to it until we really get the determination to put an end to it. And in order to put an end to it, there's the path that leads to the end of dukkha, or you can call it nibbana, or the supreme happiness, or the extinction of the fire, whatever you want to call it. And that is the path, the fourth noble truth of sila, samadhi, panya. And that's what we normally train to do here. Sila, keeping the 8 precepts when we're here in the monastery. Samadhi, training our mind to become calm. To be without thoughts and to be without memories. And for that, we either use the Buddha or we use the breath, observing anapanasati, observing the breath going in and going out. knowing that the breath is slow, knowing that the breath is fast, knowing the breath is detailed or rough. Yeah, we want to train this knowingness. We don't want to manipulate. I mean manipulation. We learn from our first year of life. We manipulated our parents. We manipulated our friends. We manipulated our teachers. We don't want to manipulate the breath or the Buddha. We want to observe. And that is something we have to train to do. Because most of the time we want. The breath is not coming. Let's make it come. And then, that's not practice. Practice is knowing the breath. Doesn't matter how the breath is. It matters that we know how the breath is. It matters if the in-breath is long or the out-breath is short, or the out-breath is long and the in-breath is short. That matters. The knowing nature. The knowing nature or the sati is awareness. The awareness to know what we are doing, why we are doing, and what is the result of our doing. We just follow in our life, we just follow the kilesas, who tells us what to do, what to like, what not to like, what to eat, what not to eat, and so on, and so on. And we always say, yes, my Lord, yes, my Lord, yes, my Lord, you're right. You guided me all my life, and I'm sure that you will guide me to a nice place, For most people, this nice place is very hot and it is hell. Because the kilesas don't keep the 5 precepts. They want to do this, they want to do that, They just desire without end. They don't know that the word enough is enough. For them, never. It's just like, just like playing music or eating a certain kind of food that we like. There's no enough. We want it again and again and again and again and again and again. Because the pleasure that arises from listening or from seeing or from eating, from touching, will never end. It's very short. That's why we need to repeat it again and again and again. We constantly need to repeat the pleasure, that certain things that our senses give us. We don't know, there is no end to it. If we like this, we need to do it again and again and again. Without even realizing, that we are doing it again and again and again for what? And why are we doing it? Because we don't know. Because we follow our kilesas. Because we have not actually investigated what we want, why we want it, and what is the result on our heart. We just followed, we followed and swallowed all these excitements without even realizing how does it feel? How does this excitement feel? How does the food taste? How does this kind of food taste and that kind of food taste? Where's the difference between this taste and that taste? We don't know. And because we don't know, we go for it, we fall for it again and again and again. And the training of panya, the training of wisdom is to know what we are doing and what are the effects of our doing. And to compare this and that, this feeling with that feeling. How is the feeling of anger? How is the feeling of lust? How is the feeling of likes? How is the feeling of dislike? How is the feeling of pain? We don't know. That's why we avoid it, it seems to be unpleasant. That's why we avoid it, the moment pain comes in, okay, pain, okay, let's do something else. We don't want to know what pain is. And we don't want to know what anger, or how anger really feels, and how it differentiates itself from pain, or from love. And for love, people, for pain, people in Germany have a very nice saying. We hit our head against the wall Because it's so nice when the pain is gone. Huh? Habt ihr sowas in Holland? Den Kopf gegen die Wand schlagen, damit der Schmerz aufhört, weil es so schön ist, wenn der Schmerz aufhört.
No, but we use the first part of the expression just to show how futile it is to talk to someone.
Yeah, I mean everything, everything. Yeah? I mean we do it without knowing, we do it without understanding. Yeah? And we have, we have this saying, that all the things come back to us. It's like a boomerang. Yeah? Whatever we throw at other people, yeah. I mean, they throw the anger at them, or throw, put them down or whatever. Yeah? It all comes back to us. Yeah? And not only one time, it comes back to us 100 times or 1,000 times. Yeah? That is the scary result of karma. I mean, if you do good, of course, then it is very nice. Yeah? We do it good one time, it comes back to us 1,000 times. Yeah? But if you do bad, it's the same thing. There's a multiplication, multiplicator. So karma can be very scary, and so we should be very careful, not to go against the 5 precepts, or when we are here in the monastery, not to go against the 8 precepts. Right? It also, it is also a very important part of our practice, because if we do not keep the precepts very, very, very carefully, I mean, our samadhi will not develop. Right? And if we don't have enough wisdom, our samadhi doesn't develop either. I mean, sila, samadhi, and panya are 3 columns that we build our house of liberation onto. And if one column is lacking, the others cannot grow. So, for most of us who come from the West, we have to develop the column of samadhi first, because, or some people, column of sila, precepts or moral precepts, depends on what, So, samadhi is important, I mean, we sit, comfortable, or we walk, We do sitting meditation, close our eyes, sit comfortable, and then observe the breath, Know that the breath goes in, know that the breath goes out, And replace every thought, every memory that comes in with the attention onto the breath. And that is where we need the effort. We don't need to force, we don't need to force the breath, or we don't need to force the attention on the breath. We need to force the mind that goes out, or the attention that goes out to something else, to bring it back to the breath, or to the Buddha. That's where we need it. It is like riding a horse, As long as the horse goes in the right direction, we go with the flow, You just observe the breath, you just observe, But when once the horse, gets a little bit stubborn and wants to go off the path, then we rein it in. And that is the same thing with meditation. The moment we see, the mind goes out, then we have to rein it in. That's where we need the strength, to rein it in. But once it goes on the right path, then we relax. Then we go with the flow, until it goes out again. That is the path of practice. Whenever it goes out, we bring it back and bring it back. And there we need utter patience. And patience is something that most of us don't even have. It's so boring. What is boring? What is boredom? I mean, we are fooled by these labels the kilesas constantly put on things. Instead of investigating, interesting, what is boredom? How does it feel like? No, we go for it. What is pain? Oh, no, I have to, I'm sitting uncomfortably, I'm going to wreck my body, I mean, it's a problem, this, no, we are fooled by the kilesas all the time, because we don't investigate the things that they throw at us, All these labels they throw at us. Oh, I'm tired. No, you're not tired. The kilesas are tired of observing the breath, I mean, there's a nice remedy against it. Oh, I'm so tired. Let's think of something exciting, and suddenly all the tiredness is gone. Try it out. It works 100%. Yeah? And once you get your energy back, you can put it back on the Buddha. On the breath. Yeah? And we are so constant, so full. The killers just throw labels at us, and we say, yes, my Lord, yes, my Lord, yes, my Lord, you're right, now I need to go sleep, now I need to do this, now I need to do that. Instead, and the Dhamma says, no, sit, go on, just one more breath, or one more, one more Buddha. Yeah? That's how you, how you persistent in your effort. Yeah? And that's what we need to train, persistent in effort. Yeah? And we do samadhi until there are no more thoughts and no more memories coming up. Yeah? And that is the first stage, the first stage of samadhi, and it's called upachara samadhi, yeah? When thoughts and memories stop. Yeah? And then, the first time in our life, we feel really relaxed, yeah? We feel happy, yeah? And the kilesas cannot come in because the kilesas are outside, yeah? They're looking, they're constantly knocking on the glass, please come out, yeah? So that we can grab hold of you. But no, yeah? As long as we are in the safe house, they cannot bother us. Yeah? And things, become more and more distant. But we stay with the breath, yeah? Or we stay with the Buddha. We don't go to the feeling that arises, yeah? Because of samadhi, yeah? When we go into samadhi, of course, when there are no more thoughts, memories, yeah? There are some very nice feelings coming up. Yeah, and the problem for most of the meditators, they go on to the feeling, and then within a few moments, these feelings are gone, just like everything anicca, yeah? It arises and passes, yeah? And these feelings arises because of our effort of keeping our attention on the breath or on the Buddha, yeah? It's a by-result of our samadhi. The result of our samadhi, it's not the work. Yeah? That's why I compare it, samadhi with digging a well. As long as you dig, the hole gets deeper. And the deeper it is, the less you're aware of what is going on around you. Yeah? But if you stop digging and look, oh wow, it's so deep, it fills up the hole. Yeah? You constantly have to dig. Yeah? Until in samadhi, when you go and when you stay with the Buddha or when you stay with the breath, until your mind becomes so focused, nearly 100% focused, yeah, that you cannot think Buddha or the breath stops. And then you have to jump into this knowingness. And the moment you jump into this knowingness, this is called one-pointedness. Yeah? We live in the world of duality, yeah? And if this world of duality, if these two things, the object and subject, merges into one thing, there's nothing we can say about it, yeah? Time, gone. Space, gone. Everything is gone. Yeah? Nunta Mahabodha called it the preview of Nibbana. That, when we enter, in the next moment we go out, and in that time, that we were in the Appana Samadhi, hours or even days can have passed. Yeah? But we don't know. Yeah? Because we go in and the next moment we go out. Yeah? Because there's no space and there's no time. It's eternity. Yeah? And that is the preview of Nibbana. Yeah? And I can promise you the first thought that you have when you come out is, I want to go back in. Because samadhi is nice, it's peaceful, it's calm, but this is the ultimate experience, yeah? And that's what we actually also need, yeah? We need this appana samadhi, and that can be that can happen through investigation, yeah? Or it can happen through samadhi, yeah? Through the practice of samadhi. Yeah? When we investigate something really deeply, we suddenly can end up in this appana samadhi. Yeah? And when we cut the fetters, when we cut the first fetters, the experience of the matta and the experience of appana samadhi is very, very similar. Yeah? And we do need the mud in order to cut the fetter. Yeah? People think, okay, yes, but the body is not me. Yes, it's clear, but that's not. Yeah? I mean, it's still thinking. Yeah? It has to really cut. Yeah? And that is what is called insight. And we can have a lot of insight. We can have insight when we do body investigation. We can have insight. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, but this insight is not deep enough. Yeah, and the next insight is a little bit deeper, and the next insight is a little bit deeper, until the insight is so deep that it can cut the fat. Yeah. So, but we are fooled, because the kid is, well, now I'm here. Yeah? No, you're not here. The moment you think you're here, or you think you have achieved something, you have not achieved anything, because it is only in your mind. Yeah? And belief is very strong. Never ever underestimate the belief, that we have. It is, it makes this world go. Yeah, the belief that we can do something, that the belief we are this, or the belief we are that. Yeah? It's a belief, it's not knowing. It's not the truth, it's not knowing. So practice samadhi, yeah? And then after we get into upachara samadhi quite easily, yeah, and can stay there for about 15-20 minutes, then practice the investigation of the body. Yeah? Distance yourself, distance yourself from the body. See that the body and the chitta are not the same thing. You can do it any way you want, you can slice up the body or cut up the body, or you can, disassemble the body in all its bits and pieces, yeah. Do it coarse, or do it 32 parts of the body, just throw them out from where you sit onto, so that you can see them all, yeah. You see all the body parts, and who sits there and sees the body parts? That is the chitta, yeah. That's the subject, and these body parts are the object. So how can be the subject be the object? Yeah? It's impossible. Yeah? You see, with your inner eye. Yeah? And that kind of insight is necessary. Yeah? If you can leave the body, and see the body, hey, that looks like my body, huh? Wow. Yeah? And then you go around, and look at it, wow. Yeah? That is also, yeah. There you see the chitta and the body are two different things. And that is the third fetter, or the second fetter, sometimes called second fetter, I call it the third fetter. Yeah? That is necessary for entering the stream. The second fetter is, not keeping the sila. Yeah? Today I keep them, tomorrow I don't keep them. And the first fetter is doubt that there's heaven and hell, or beings in heaven and hell, that there's karma and the results of karma. Okay, that's enough for today. Yeah, do you have any questions?
Sure. Just before I enter the first form, or the
what?
Just before I enter the first stage of samadhi, and I start thinking about my mother and the love of my life and how my future will look like, I really start to doubt if I want to enter samadhi. I just can't convince myself that I should continue. I don't think I can't convince myself. It's like something I should just do, but I don't want to.
What is it? Next life you will have a mother. So how many mothers do you need to be satisfied? How often do you need to taste this kind of food? How often do you need to go to this country or that country, or to meet this, or have a girlfriend, How often? When do you stop? It's a trick of the kilesas, yeah. Of course, they don't want you, yeah. And for me, this is a red alarm lamp that says, you're actually very close to me, yeah. You don't lose your mother because of going into samadhi. Huh? Because when you come out of samadhi, everything is the same. Yeah? You remember, what the Lord Buddha said when he trained, the jhanas. Yeah? He went in the first jhana, he came out, everything is the same. Nothing has changed. The desire is the same, the hate is the same, everything is the same. And that he did this up to the 8th chant and said, that is not the way out. Yeah? So he went into, and then he did something, he tortured his body, and then he saw, this is also not the way out. Yeah? The Majjhima Padipada, the middle way of practice, that is the way out. I mean, you're not even practicing. Yeah? Samadhi is just like, it is the healthy way of drugs. A very healthy way, yeah? It's just giving you some happiness that you're looking all your life for. In this thing or that thing or that thing, yeah? You understand that? The kilesas are fooling you, Why don't you go into Samadhi? Because, normally, it is a sign that you're actually, if you go on, you can enter Upachara Samadhi, yeah? So, what's the problem? Just experience it, you don't know, yeah? Fear, yeah? It is fear of the kilesas that they have no power over. Yeah?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they push everything onto you, yeah? Your future, your mother, your parents, your home, your situation, and so on. They put everything onto you so that you don't go there, yeah? Because they know, the moment you enter Samadhi, they are outside. And there you see the difference, yeah? How it is, without the kilesas, yeah? And how is it when you come out, how is it with the kilesas? Because the moment you go on, I need something to drink, I need to go here, I need to go there, I need to do this, I need to do that, yeah? While you're in Samadhi, you're happy, you're contented, you don't need anything, and that is the first realization in Upachara Samadhi, that you actually don't need a thing. And when you're not in Samadhi, you need all these things, constantly, yeah? Okay? Understood?
Understood, thank you.
Any more questions?
No.
Yeah.
Can you differentiate between Khanika Samadhi and Upachara Samadhi in more detail?
Khanika Samadhi is only a very momentary Samadhi, yeah? And it normally goes into deep state of Samadhi for a second, and then normally comes out in Upachara Samadhi.
Come out at Upachara Samadhi.
Yeah. But Khanika Samadhi for most of people, it is difficult. Yeah. So don't bother. If you happen to go into, let me know. Yeah.
Yeah. If someone in meditation and suddenly the pain between, how to explain? When I look at the pain
Yeah.
is still there.
Yeah.
But it kind of not affecting you.
Yeah, that is Samadhi, where you separate yourself out
Yes.
from the pain. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like one still have thinking. Can
Yes.
you still think?
They're still in the beginning of Samadhi. When it is not really, when it's not really fixed, there can be some thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, and what?
But not excessive thoughts. Just a thought, maybe a realization, maybe a memory, coming.
It's really like a controlled thought. Like we suddenly realize that, and we just kind of.
That is an insight.
So the pain is not going to affect you anymore. You're still knowing the pain is there. Still knowing the pain is there.
Samadhi, it is like that. Then the pain completely goes. Yeah. So it starts, and gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until it reaches the stage of Appana Samadhi. So, there can be very, very different experiences for Upachara Samadhi. And that depends also on the characteristics of people, what they have trained in their previous life. Because that can come up. Yeah. It's like I said in the beginning, next life, we practice in this life, but next life we have to start all over again, yeah, because we forget certain things, yeah, It's just like you learn a language, and you didn't speak it for 30 years, you have to relearn it, but because of your experience, you're much quicker to learn it, to relearn. Yeah. And that's the same thing. Yeah? For people who have practiced, for instance, the jhanas, instead of going into samadhi, they go into the jhanas. Yeah?
But what happened when it suddenly just happened and you don't really know how to get there, and when
you know how to get there. You put your attention on the breath, or you put your attention, on the Buddha. Yeah? And like I said, whenever the mind goes out, you bring it back to the Buddha, or you bring it back to the breath. That's how you get there. Yeah? And the result of your practice is that you enter samadhi.
okay.
Same thing can happen if you investigate pain. Yeah? I mean, once the pain becomes so strong, that you feel, you can't bear it anymore, and you do samadhi, then you go and investigate pain. What is pain? Where is the pain? Yeah? I mean, you were born, I mean, even the tendons are not in pain, because otherwise you would be in pain all the time. Yeah? The muscles are not in pain. Yeah? Where is the pain?
Yeah.
And how does it feel like? Lots of people just want to get rid of the pain, and that is not how investigation works. Investigation only works if you can accept the thing that happens. If you can accept it wholeheartedly, so any kind of feeling, you can accept it, and then we can investigate the feeling. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
So, nothing more than we stop, yeah? We end the talk, yeah? Yes, okay.